Hello, this is Purge bringing you guys the first person replay commentary. It's been forever, but it feels really good. Sorry I've been pretty AFK in terms of videos. To be honest, what happened is I went on vacation early April to go to the UK, which is really nice. And then I got back, and then 2 days later I flew to Manila in the Philippines to cast ESL Manila. So I got back about 2 days ago. I streamed 2 days ago. I'm probably going to stream later today, but I've been kind of grinding pubs, trying to figure out the meta right now in anticipation for the qualifiers so that we can do better. And I finally have a game or a video to make. So sorry about all the not doing videos things for a month. I know I'm a shitty YouTuber sometimes. Okay, so this is a Gyrocopter game. I looked on my website and I had realized that the last Gyrocopter video I put up was May 11th, 2015. It looks like I went a terrible item build based on the image. And before then, the previous time was November 6th, 2013. I didn't actually check to see what he is on heroes that you guys want me to play, but I played a Gyrocopter game today at a solo queue. I was a little surprised that I had to play carry. I wanted to pick support, but I was the high MMR on my team, and everybody picked support, and then I had to play carry. So I played Gyro. Now, I'm probably going to make like a patch update video based on my impressions. Maybe tomorrow, maybe, actually I should probably do it tonight, but the first one is basically Axe is very strong right now, and Blade Mail is very strong right now. So I'm going to talk a lot about those two things in this game because Gyrocopter is a good solution against those, but it depends on what your item build is. I'll talk a little bit about the Blade Mail and Axe changes, but I'll go over that way more deep tonight when I make that different video, because I definitely want to talk about the main themes of the patch and in reference to how you should adjust your playstyle, because you definitely have to adjust a lot more now than you did before. Alright, so Gyrocopter as a carry is probably one of the longest standing carries in the meta. I swear he's been played for years now, 3 years. He's been almost always strong or okay. And he's just, by all means, just a fairly good hero to have. Main reason is because Rocket Barrage is a very strong skill. Used to be ultra OP, now it's good but not amazing. But still really good. It randomly targets somebody around you and it does magic damage to them. So if there's only one hero, it will hit them. If there's only one creep, it hits them. If there's a hero and 4 creeps, it will spread the damage pretty evenly. For one skill point, it does 210 magic damage right now, and it's a cooldown of 7 seconds. It used to do like 300 damage, but they nerfed it down a bit. And also, they nerfed Gyrocopter's mana pool, but he's still pretty good. You can do a lot of damage with Rocket Barrage against a single hero, and you don't have to stop moving to cast it, so you basically just follow somebody, and it does a lot of damage over time. Rocket Barrage is almost always maxed out first because it gives you the most hero killing potential, and this is the reason that Gyrocopter is so preferred as a carry, is mostly, maybe not before, but for a period of time he was strong for that reason, is because Rocket Barrage does so much in the laning stage. A lot of people just would underestimate how much damage it did, and Gyrocopter would just kill you with Rocket Barrage. So it's very good against Axe is what I'm trying to say. You're a ranged hero, you have really high movement speed, and Rocket Barrage does a lot of damage to a single hero. So if it's just you and Axe, you can do a lot of damage to him with Rocket Barrage. You can cast a couple times, it's all good and all that stuff. Your other skills are pretty good too. Your second best is definitely Flat Cannon. This lets you attack every unit within 1,000 range of you up to 6 times. So if you attack a creep, it will also shoot out flat hits that hit everybody else within 1,000 radius, which is a massive radius. And this gives you, it's basically a regular attack. You can't have attack modifiers, Desolator, you can't crit on it, you can't MKB proc, you can't bash, but your base damage will be applied. So it's basically like a Divine Rapier. That's the best item for Gyro for that reason. If you get a Rapier on Gyrocopter and you do a Flat Cannon, everybody gets hit with that damage. If you buy a Mjolnir or a crit, it does only the plus damage applies, not the crit value. So plus damage items are really important to have on Gyrocopter. Your second skill is called Homing Missile. You cast it, it has a very long delay, it will eventually connect with your opponent, it does a lot of damage and stuns for a very long time, but you can attack the missile to kill it before it gets there. So when you're playing carry Gyro, you pretty much just leave this ability at level 1 or 0. Kind of depends on preference. This game I did get a couple levels early, and by early I mean before I hit level 22, because I was against the Phantom Lancer, and Phantom Lancer is pretty evasive, so if you can start the missile on him as your team initiates, he'll often doppelgang, and then right after he doppelgangs, the red sensor is still above his head, so you can still see which one's real, and it makes it easier for chasing him down and killing him. So Homing Missile is very good against PL for that reason. He can doppelgang as it connects with him, and then the missile will explode on nothing, so he can dodge it, but if you're doing it in the middle of a crazy team fight, it's worth casting. So it does more damage the farther it moves, by the way, is another thing. So, but most people will not max this out, and for good reason, because stat points are very good on Gyro. You want HP, you want more mana because you cast Rocket Barrage a lot and other spells, and you want more agility, obviously, for damage and armor, and strength for HP. So usually you'll get maximum 1 homing missile, but you'll max out Rocket Barrage as well as Flat Cannon by level 9. Cooldown's really good. Pretty low cooldown, fairly high damage. You cast it on the ground, and after a bit of time it hits, slows for 2 seconds, and then the second missile will hit, which slows for 4 seconds and majorly slows for 60%. So cooldown's a really good ability for farming, for initiating, for limiting mobility while you chase down with Rocket Barrage. It basically gives Gyrocopter really good team fight early. You can rotate very strongly. You can also scale as a carry with Flat Cannon. There's a lot of reasons that Gyrocopter is good. To be honest, I'm surprised his popularity isn't higher because he is a very strong hero. In terms of his skill build, this is actually pretty much perfect. The only thing that's wrong about this is most people will shift the homing missile until later. They'll put it more towards, like, I don't know, 17 to 25, somewhere in there. They'll get more homing missile levels. I think I started getting some around that period of time, maybe after 17, but I definitely had stat points here pre-16, and I really recommend that you do the same. This is one of the few times where I think not maxing the ability excuse me, is actually worth it. But there are some games where I will max the skill out. If you do play mid Gyrocopter, by the way, when there's only one hero against you, it's pretty worth it to max the skill out because you can cast it on your opponent. There's no way he can attack it like the 4 to 5 times they needed to kill the missile, so you can get really easy harass on your opponent in the mid lane and possibly kill them. Especially if you do like a safe lane invoker, you can do Sunstrike combos with it. So if Complexity, for example, sometimes plays Gyro mid and they do max out homing missile. So that's pretty much the only case you'll ever see people get homing missile early. You almost always want to have Flat Cannon maxed out because you can farm stacks and neutrals and push waves faster, and Rocket Barrage for killing heroes and also for farming. So that's pretty standard skill build. Items. Items are kind of all over the place. You can do a little bit of everything, but Phase or Treads works. I generally recommend Phase because your hero is very movement speed based. You want to stand next to people to use Rocket Barrage. You want to stand next to them and chase them after you use Cooldown. So usually Phase is the way to go. Treads can be good because you can tread switch a lot, but almost everybody goes Phase. Not to mention that Phase is way better for Flat Cannon because it gives you raw damage of plus 24, which is going to apply very well to Flat Cannon. And again, Flat Cannon only lasts for 6 attacks, so that extra attack speed it gives you, in most ways you could argue that's not really needed to shoot them off faster. The only exception to that is if people are running away from you. Helm of the Dominator is very common as well because you can stack Ancients and control neutral creeps, not to mention it gives you armor and lifesteal. You do need some kind of lifesteal or sustain on Gyrocopter, and Helm of the Dominator is usually the way that everybody does it. I didn't buy one early this game, and I kind of regret it because I bought it eventually, but it was so delayed that it kind of limited my acceleration by a little bit. I could have been stacking Ancients, hypothetically, but very few Gyros will actually stack Ancients anymore, and that's because Ancients got buffed heavily in terms of giving armor to each other and HP, which there was a period of time where Gyros would always stack Ancients because they could kill it fairly fast with Flat Cannon, but now it takes like 3 rotations of Flat Cannon, and it's on a 30-second cooldown, so nerfs to Flat Cannon plus buffs to Ancient, or nerfs to Ancient stacking, it just makes it kind of like less worth it. But either way, if you do get Helm of the Dominator, you have to use the creep. If you don't use the creep, you're not using the item correctly. It's 1800 for armor, lifesteal, damage. All that stuff's great, but also having a creep on top of that is good. You can do things like get a Wildkin to give 3 armor to yourself and your allies. You can get the Frost Ogre to give yourself a 7 armor buff. That's amazing. You can do things like the Hellbear Smasher to give yourself a 15% attack and move, or attack and it's just attack speed, 15% attack speed increase, not to mention as a clap. So you can use it to farm. There's a lot of things you can do with it. Helm of the Dominator is worth it, but make sure you use it fully. Black King Bar is often purchased on this hero because of the fact that you want to get up and close against your opponents, and stuns and nukes will just blow you up. But this was actually one of the few games where getting a Black King Bar wasn't worth it on Gyro, so I'll talk about that a bit later. Ring of Aquila, really recommended. It has a low win rate here, but this is basically just because of the fact that these win rates count for when the game ends. So if a Gyro ends the game with a Ring of Aquila, he probably lost. Whereas if you're winning, you're going to have 6 really good items. That's why the win rate's showing low. So that's Ring of Aquila. Really good item. Currently gives you 19 damage with 9 agility and 3 to strength and int, and it gives you a total of about 3 armor, 3 1/3 armor, 3 2/7 armor. So Ring of Aquila is very, very good on Gyro, plus it gives him mana regen over the game, and you really need that. So the Fast Basilius and a Ring of Aquila, I really recommend it. Sanjin Yasha, I think, is one of the corest of most core items on Gyrocopter because it does a lot of the things he needs. Movement speed, which helps you use Rocket Barrage and Call Down and all that stuff better. Gives you HP, gives you armor, gives you a maim, which can slow people. That part's pretty nice. The maim chance has gone up in this patch. It's a 30% maim chance, but the slow is now only 13%. But I don't think that's that big of a deal. I think it's absolutely still worth it to buy SNY on Gyrocopter. Still really, really like the build. Monkey King Bar is usually your damage item that you buy mid-game. It might not make sense to you because you're like, oh, it does less damage than Daedalus. Why would I buy this? The reality is that you kind of just need the True Strike. In a lot of cases, you'll come up against an agility carry that is evasion. And Gyrocopter definitely has trouble doing single target damage in the late game. He's more of an AoE carry by far, though he does do some single target, especially with Rocket Barrage. But against like a really tanky illusion hero like PL, it gets kind of iffy in the mid game if he has as much or more farm than you, because you can't really cleave down his illusions without using like Call Down and Flat Cannon. Once it comes down to a 1v1, you can usually beat them, but Gyros usually buy like hybrid stat HP item, teamfight items. They don't really buy like damage item after damage item after damage item. If you buy like 4 damage items in a row on Gyro, it'll work, but then your HP is going to be low and you're going to be in this, you're going to die to other stuff. So usually Gyro doesn't beat other carries in a 1v1, and almost always he's going to want a Monkey King Bar for that. Shadowblade is not really recommended, but if you want, you can cast Rocket Barrage, then Shadowblade and hit them for invis while you're invis. That's kind of cool, but this is a shit build. Don't go this. Butterfly is usually built late game because it makes you more tanky. Evasion, attack speed, you can activate the Flutter to run fast, but the evasion and the overall attack speed increase is really nice. Satanic is really good also because when you have something like Rapier in the late game, you can lifesteal back up to full, and it gives you more HP. Never buy Ags. Even right now, I wouldn't recommend buying Ags. This is really just like a super luxury. The way Ags works now is that every like 1.4 seconds or something, you will attack a random target near you with your physical attack. But I only recommend buying this as an item, as like a 4th to 6th item. It's terrible if you rush it because then your damage is low because you spent all your money on Ag Scepter, and it takes a while for a Gyro to actually just do a lot of right-click damage. So I just absolutely don't find this valuable at all. In almost all cases, I just don't see it being worth it. Like you could just buy an attack speed item or something, and you would do more overall DPS, I think. It's kind of like buying that new Echo Saber thing. Yes, it makes you attack faster over time, but wouldn't it just be better to buy like a Hyperstone and turn that into an AC? So don't buy the Ags, it's not very good. Magic Wand early game definitely is a great purchase. Alright, here's your good against. You're really good against Undying because you can use Flak Cannon to target the tomb, and then the Flak will hit all the zombies. One of the best counters to Undying. Good against Beastmaster for the same reasons. He has a lot of summons, you'll be able to kill them all very rapidly, which makes Beastmaster less strong. Visage, same thing, you can Flak Cannon his birds down, which gives you free gold, which kills his birds, which makes his hero worse. Dazzle, I don't know why he's good against Dazzle. General teamfight control, he can't grave everybody, he can only heal so many people so fast. That's probably why. Good against these heroes because of counter push. He actually does have an advantage against PL. I'm a little surprised about that, but I guess it does make sense. Because if you're at equal or more farm, you will be able to Flak Cannon and call down his illusions and get advantage there. So I guess that makes sense. What PL really wants to do is he wants to engage after the Flak Cannon is done, if possible. That's kind of hard to do. Alright, here's your bad against. Heroes basically that do single target damage. Juggernaut Zeus. This is actually really manageable, these advantages. It basically means that Gyro essentially is good against everything and not really, with the exception of like these 3-4 heroes, he's pretty even against just about every hero, and he doesn't have that many big disadvantages. So I like this. The only one that really hard counters him kind of is Juggernaut because he can Omni Slash you, and if you don't buy a Manta style, his Omni Slash will kind of just kill you because it does a ton of single target physical damage if you're the only hero. Lifesteal are kind of a similar thing. You can Enrage, which means that all your magic stuff doesn't hit, and you don't do a ton of single target physical damage. With that said, once Enrage goes away, you can kind of kill Lifestealer. And you're an agility carry, so you usually buy like Butterfly and stuff, so you definitely provide some problems to Lifestealer, but as a whole, Gyro definitely pretty good. And as you can see, due to Gyro being one of the top heroes in the meta, all of the top hero rankings are all pro players. A lot of Chinese players here, actually. Oh, Whitebeard, wow, I'm surprised about that. Yeah, Gyro is a very good hero. Like, really good stacking, great agility, pretty darn good int, and alright strength. His movement speed's fantastic, his base armor is really good. His base damage recently got nerfed, so it's really bad now. It's an average of 43? 42 at level 1, which is terrible. But once you get your Basilius, it's fine, because Basilius gives you 10 damage. Alright, next up, I'm going to look over my heroes of all time, Gyrocopter. I have a 61% win rate, and I've only played 26 games. Like, I honestly play so many different heroes. I play like all heroes. It's kind of crazy to think that I've only played 2 heroes more than 100 games. Almost 3. Whereas a lot of players, I think a lot of people play more games than I do. I don't play that many games, at least like the last year or two. But I only play like a few games a day, like 3 or 4 games, whereas a lot of people just play like 10 games a day. But I don't have that much time, unfortunately. But yeah, I play a little bit of everything. Anyways, my Gyrocopter is alright. I have a pretty good win rate. I feel good about highly mobile heroes that play aggressive, and that's definitely kind of like Gyro's playstyle. Now, if we look at the hero meta statistics, we can see his overall win rate. His highest win rate is actually at the 2 to 3k MMR level, I believe. Yeah, 2 to 3k. But at 5k, he's only at a 47% win rate, and this is similar or around the range that he's at actually in pro games. He's still a good carry, but he's not overpowered. And there were periods of times where he was overpowered, but right now he's at a fairly even, safe area. I think he's still going to continue to get picked, though he did get nerfed in this last patch, but yeah. Alright, so I think that's enough about... Oh, whoops. This is what I need to do. I need to go like this. Wait. I need to do this. I almost spoiled the game. Again. I'm gonna close that now. That was the Dotabuff section, by the way, and again, I am sponsored by Dotabuff, which is why I did it. But of course, it's a great service, and I really like it, and it provides lots of useful things. I'm gonna turn this on, and then I'm gonna do this. Okay, there we go. So, the way this game started was I was playing solo queue. I was gonna pick a support because I wanted to try a couple more heroes out. They first picked Axe. My ally picked Omni Knight, or it went the other way around. Omni's actually pretty good against Axe, relatively. Axe basically gets kills by getting people low and then chopping them. But what Omni Knight provides is the fact that he can swing the HP that you have. I would increase my HP, and it would decrease Axe's HP. So in terms of that 1v1, Omni Knight really upsets the balance. Now this guy randomed Earth Spirit, which made me uncomfortable because that gives us 2 melee supports versus an Axe, which is really bad. It's the downside to Omni Knight is that he can't actually just hit Axe for free. Although his armor is decently high, so it's kind of offset. But with Axe's spin now doing pure damage, there aren't a lot of good counters against Axe in the laning stage. He just does a stupid amount of damage with counter helix now. It's like a lot of damage. And my supports also did a terrible job of zoning the Axe. They had no concept of playing support correctly in the laning stage, so I kind of had to instruct them what to do. But keep in mind that this game was, I think it was like a, I don't know what the average was, maybe like around 5.2 or something, but I had 5.8k MMR about, and my allies were all about 4.7, 4.8k range, so all my 4 allies were like that. They recommended the Gyro pick, and it was actually a good pick here. It's good against Axe in the laning stage because I'm ranged, I'm fast, and I have a really good nuke. So that means I can contribute to lane and possibly kill Axe. If it's just Earth Spirit Omni Knight plus like a defensive carry, we would have gotten wrecked in this lane. There was like no way to kill Axe. But once you get a couple levels in a Rocket Barrage, it gets way better, especially at that level 3. It's a huge difference. It does, what, 210 damage at level 1, because it does 70 times 10 times 3. And then at level 2, it does 120 times 3, which is 360 magic damage. That's massive. And then at level 3, it does 660 magic damage every 5.5 seconds. It is a really good skill for killing single target heroes. So Omni Knight does provide me good things against Axe, but at some stage it doesn't do enough. He doesn't have any way to stop this pure damage from hitting me, basically, except for healing me. But that's kind of the counter to pure damage, is heals and HP. That's it. So it was kind of nice, but it's kind of bad before Omni's 3, because level 1 Purify is really not very good. It's only going to offset, that's right, 1 counter helix. Really not much. So with that said, the other really popular item right now is Blade Mail, and this is a really good blade. There's a lot of Blade Mail heroes on the enemy team. Legion Commander is probably going to get one, and he does get one. And also the other hero is Axe. Both of those heroes oftentimes buy Blade Mail. And the way Blade Mail works now is it's the damage that you were throwing at your opponent, not the damage that they take. Before it was the damage they take. So for heroes like Axe, Blade Mail was kind of bad earlier, because when you Berserker's Call and force people to attack you, you're increasing your armor by like 40 or something like that. And by doing that, you take no damage, because you have 40 bonus armor. You're taking no damage from them. And because of that, that means your Blade Mail isn't reflecting very much. But now it's the damage that you're throwing at them. So if he... Now it's really good with Axe, because when he Berserker's Call, he doesn't take any damage, but he throws full damage back. So Blade Mail is way better for Axe. Way better. Far, far, far better. So the solution to this gets kind of complicated, because now the damage that's reflected to me is the damage type that I deal. So if he Blade Mail calls me, the damage that I deal to myself is the right-click damage I'm throwing at Axe. So I'm easily taking more damage than he is from my throwing it at him. So the solutions are, there's two solutions. I either do very little damage to the Axe, or I have so much armor that the damage I'm dealing to him doesn't get dealt very much back to me. And I think the best solution to that, and I think I theory crafted, not that it's that difficult, but I theory crafted, figured out this game, the solution is to not go very high in damage. Because the best thing that Blade Mill will then counter is a hero that has way more damage than survivability. Because then the damage gets fully reflected to you, you die instantly, and he chops you. So what you need to do when you're playing, oh, I had a bunch of super lag issues the first like 5 minutes. You're gonna get confused by me standing still. That was the first one. I was like trying to, you can see by the way my camera's moving, because it's like catching up to where my camera was actually. But I lagged a lot the first couple of minutes. But the solution is to buy more, to buy some damage, but to generally focus on stats, HP, armor, stuff like that. Missed my first last hit. Lagged here as well. Good, they got the last hit while I was DC'd. And I got DC'd. So the goal is basically focus on getting a medium damage, high survivability build versus these Blade Mill heroes rather than high damage, low survivability. I think it's really important you do that because it gives you much better options against them, and I really feel like my mid game would have been much worse if I didn't do the build that I did. Alright, got connected here. I had one other lag spike, but I think that was it for the rest of the game, thank God. Axe already doing ridiculous amounts of damage. I don't know if my supports had... So basically what my supports did wrong, first of all, the first issue is that I disconnected obviously, so I couldn't keep the lane stagnant, but basically they right-clicked the crap out of Axe trying to zone him, and what should have happened is we should have blocked better. If I wasn't lagging, I could have blocked better. If we got the creep wave more south, they can move around and they could punch Axe and try to zone him. It's still probably not going to trade very well, but with both of them hitting him, it might work out alright. But both of them being melee definitely makes it kind of tough. But now the creep wave's pushed up a lot, and this is going to give Axe a lot of advantage in his lane. And our Omni Knight for some reason only had a Mango at level 1, which I thought was very weird. So I'm being very careful about last hitting due to the fact that I only have 44 damage. For my starting items, I got Ring of Protection for the Basilius. I did not get that last hit, unfortunately. And those lasers felt like they were doing actually nothing to him. That was very... I don't know why that felt so weak. But Ring of Protection for the fast Basilius so that I get fast damage. And then a set of regen to each, a circlet which will eventually become either an Aquila or a Wraithband essentially, or a magic wand, either one. But the circlet, and then I got a Clarity Potion as well. That way if I burn all my mana using Rocket Barrages, I can transition that into full mana. So that's the goal. I've only got 3 last hits because I'm bad. And because I was lagging, but mostly because I'm bad. But now things should be a little bit better, especially as I level up, I'll get like 2 damage, almost 3 damage per level actually. That'll make a big difference. I could buy boots here at 400 gold, or I could go Basilius. I think I went Basilius. Keep in mind, armor doesn't actually do that much against Axe anymore, due to the fact that... Oh, I think I lagged here. Yeah, I lagged there. I don't really remember running away from him that much. No, I couldn't actually Rocket Barrage that. But Basilius doesn't actually make the spins do less because it's pure damage, so it's kind of harder to deal with him in the laning stage now. It's literally all about HP. If it was about armor, then Gyro is actually a really good solution, because I have really good armor right now. Very, very good armor. 8 armor at this stage in the game is amazing. But unfortunately it doesn't provide a great solution. We had a lot of really weird rotations this game. You might be wondering why I'm in a 1v1 versus Axe right now. Basically, I think I don't remember if the bot complained or what, but he died 1v1 against a Warlock, and it's, again, the most ragey people out of all MMRs are easily the 4.7 to 5k players, because they desperately believe that they're a 5k player, but they're not. So they get really mad all the time. As soon as they see mistakes, they get really angry. And the angriest person in this game by far was Sanking. I forgot to report him before I left, but I muted him, and then walked away at the end of the game. And unfortunately, this is pretty dangerous. The fact that I just walked up the creep wave here. It costs you a lot. I couldn't believe he punched me towards him. That was very confusing. Pop up salve right away. Gonna do a little bit of chasing. I actually don't have the mana for Rocket Barrage, so I'm just gonna play this normal. But basically what happened is Quap complained, he died solo, and then Sand King's like, how could you die solo to a Warlock? It's the easiest lane ever. It's actually not. Warlock's actually a very competent mid laner. He's not very easy to beat. Shadow Ward is one of the best nukes in the game, damage-wise, per skill point. So then my supports went mid to go try to roam, because he was asking the Earth Spirit to go mid, and for some reason Omninet went with as well. I have no idea why, he should have stayed in lane, but that's why the lane is kind of weird. My Clarity Potion paid off ultra hard because I was completely out of mana here, and now with the Basilius I will be hitting max mana pool, which means that I'm going to be a lot more viable against Axe here. I also got another flat cannon point. You can maybe justify me going stats there, since I'm against Axe and it's kind of scary, but I think I didn't bother. Actually, I don't even remember if I bought a wand this game. I think I did though. I'm pretty sure I bought a wand this game. Just focusing on the last hits. What I basically want to do is make sure he doesn't get behind me. And that did happen once, like right here. I saw him clearly walking around. It was like, alright, he's going to walk behind me. He's going to come from behind. And I was like, oh, I'm going to harass him. But then the problem was that my creeps came at the same time. I wasn't watching where my creeps were. And because of that, it made it really easy for him to get behind me and set up a kill. Because if it's just me and a creep and he calls me, it's not a big deal. He's only got like a 20% chance to spin. It's a 20% chance. That means on average, out of 5 hits, he's going to spin on one of them. So if he calls me, I'm going to attack him maximum 4 times. He might spin once. He might get lucky if he spins more than that. But if it's just me, he's not going to spin. He's probably not going to spin. If he does spin, he's not going to spin more than once. But the fact that my creeps came up at the same moment completely screwed me. So that's me not looking on the map. I should have looked at the map and been like, oh, hey, again, I'm lagging here. I should have looked at the map and been like, oh, my creeps are coming. This is dangerous. I saw him wrapping around. I should have looked at the map and been like, oh, okay, I actually have to back. I can't get this last hit. Dude, I was really lagging for a long time here. Holy crap. Did I disconnect twice? I don't remember disconnecting twice. You get nothing. Good day, sir. Oh, yes. He took a lot of damage that time. I'm flat canning here because actually that was really close. He spun a lot there. That was way too dangerous. I shouldn't have flat cannoned the creeps. I should have just tried to chase him. This part made me so mad. God, I can't believe he did that. Like, I cannot believe that he healed there. I wasn't gonna right click him, so he wasn't gonna spin. There was like no reason for him to steal that kill, but I was kind of frustrated. What's my fight recap? How much did I get from that? 158. Yeah, that's a load of shit. I really wish he didn't steal that kill, but it probably helped him a lot actually, because that probably gave him like boots and almost arcane boots. Yeah, that actually helped him a lot, but that was very irritating that he stole that kill. I was 3 HP away from dying. I actually definitely almost died. I messed it up for sure. Dying there would have made a huge change actually, because I would have put Axe at 3-1 or 3-0, and he would have lived probably. And I definitely would have gotten real screwed by that death. So it was quite dangerous to do that. I thought, oh, I'll flat cannon down. That's one of the nice things about Gyro is you have all these AoEs to nuke down creeps. I did a call down there. I don't think I needed to. I think that was a little bit of a waste of mana. It does end the cooldown, of course. It does push the lane, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but I missed 2 last hits. So it was kind of bad that I called down. I probably should have just Rocket Barraged again and maybe played it out a bit, but I definitely played this laning stage not very good. I spent a lot of time yelling at my allies, unfortunately, because they were doing weird things, and I was confused while I was solo and stuff like that. I was like, just rotate behind, we can kill him with Rocket Barrage. It's like, it's a good solution. If you don't have Rocket Barrage though, like playing against Axe just sucks. If you're playing a melee hero like Terrorblade or something, Terrorblade's really bad against Axe now. He used to be okay, plus he got an armor buff, but now it's really bad because his armor does nothing. I would not want to play Terrorblade against Axe. But if you would have chopped me there, boy, that would have changed a lot. So I get my phase boots. This is going to give me a movement speed advantage over Axe. I also bought 2 Ironwood branches because I didn't have very much money, but that's going to give me more survivability and stats and mana against Axe. So I like buying those when I have a shot. And now I see him over here. I'm asking for a rotation. Said if you come over, we can easily get a kill. I'm going to approach from the side jungle. Luckily, his ward is actually gone. And I just need to do a call down here. And then I sprint in, cast all my spells. I have no idea why there was a boulder smash over there. He actually got a lot of spins at the end. I did get repelled from the Omniunite, but it actually doesn't do anything. I asked him for it, but then I thought afterwards, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't stop the spin damage. The only thing that it does is it prevents him from casting Battle Hunger on me, because that's a spell. But the other 2 spells go through magic immunity, so... Oh, he's clicking on somebody else, so I can't see his hero. But the other 2 things, it didn't actually do anything. It's a decent time to push the lane, because Axe is about to come back. And if I push the lane, I can go do jungling instead. So occasionally using flat cannon like that is really good. you'll hear that little sound. Basically the sound it makes as you shoot out flax. And again, this is usually what you do with Rocket Barrage, max her out. So I'll finish Wand now with my Wraith Band, which is giving me a lot of early game strength. I'm still missing mana and I don't have any regen, so I have to be kind of careful, especially with not knowing where the Legion Commander is. I don't know if it was revealed that he had Blink yet, but I was definitely a little scared here. With Axe being this aggressive, and he doesn't have Blink himself, so I know that he can't initiate on me, but once he gets Blink, things get really scary. I think I wasn't sure, I think I wasn't aware of the Legion just yet. Just trying to poke him for free, basically. He cancelled his Battle Hunger. Like, he really can't dive under this, because there's no creeps, right? Like, Axe only does damage if there's creeps next to me when he's hitting me. That's the only way. I don't know if he did see Omni or not there, but apparently he did.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Camping bottom is definitely the right thing to do, though, because if Axe goes on me, I could definitely die if I make a big mistake. This is a good time for me to Rocket Barrage, I think. Could heal bomb this for sure. He shouldn't have repelled me, that was actually a huge mistake. Looks like he healed a creep instead. This works really well, the Guardian Angel completely covers me here. Fortunately I didn't have Rocket Barrage, but should be fine. I did get the Axe kill, which is good, and obviously an assist for the other ones, so that's pretty solid. And now I'm just going to shift over here, farm a jungle camp, and then head back. I'm basically just doing this. I should have used, oh, I actually did a fucking... I almost died, that was crazy. The only reason he nuked was because there were 3 heroes, but I wasn't expecting that, and then I almost died, so that was kind of scary. I said, okay, well, I'll farm the last camp, and then I'm going to go back and heal. And he healed me so much, I was like, alright, I guess I'll stay in lane. So this was kind of nice. Like, normally you don't have this much survivability in lane. If you're wondering what I should do for survivability at this stage, it would probably be... probably the Mask of Death, go into the Helm of Dominator for HP and regen, is what I should be doing. Instead I queued up S and Y first. I think that was a... It was alright. I think at the very least getting the Ogre Club was needed before I go into the Helm of the Dominator. And the reason again is because Axe does pure damage, which means that armor and lifesteal don't actually do that much to keep me alive. So I definitely needed as much raw HP as I could get at the start. So I got a Sange first. It's not too uncommon to see Gyros do that just to give themselves a lot more HP in the laning stage or the early game. And now I was really worried about Legion Commander. In fact, I can actually see him on the mid right now. On the mid now. Dove tower a little bit, gonna do some free Rocket Barrage damage, and then I'm walking away. Oh, he must have spun killed that, that's how that died. Then he ended up going left. So I'm gonna pop Wand and Phase. Just gotta catch up to him here. We knew he was juking around that tree. That was very close, very, very close. It was a good TP by him, but because we had the Quap coming, I knew that he was for sure around the corner. So it made it a little bit easier. And I activated Rocket Barrage preemptively because I knew he was going to be TPing. Because that was the only way he gets out, right? So, pretty straightforward kill. My team has done a really good job of covering over me in the early game since this point, though. Because shutting down Axe is just really important in this meta because Axe is so strong. With Blade Mail and overall with ganking and the whole pure damage thing, which means he scales very well late game. Axe scales very well into the mid game at least, and then he gets items that gives him some utility. So right now I'm pushing this tower, but I'm only doing this because both Axe and Legion are respawning. So I'm pushing this instantly and I'm getting out. It's not safe to push that tower. They could easily TP to the tier 2, blink duel with a blink Axe right click or whatever. So absolutely not worth it for me to stay there. I have to push the wave and then I have to run back and do a jungle. And I think my creeps actually did kill the tower, but it's just not safe for me to be there. It's easier for me to go to the jungle, use Rocket Barrage in here, and kill these creeps. And by doing that, I still get gold. I don't get as much gold, but it's safe. They did end up getting the tower, by the way. It wasn't a deny. So overall, very good for us. That'll be my Sange. I'm stacking this here. Always stack on Gyro when you can. Super important you do that. So now this will be a double stack, which means my flat cannon hits everything twice instead of just once extra.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So good. I could have used a Rocket Barrage there as well to make it go a little bit faster, but considering my mana was low, I didn't really feel comfortable with it. I think I should have killed the small camp on the way over here. I think this is a slight mistake by me. Definitely a slight mistake. Mistakes on farm patterns. And now I'm basically sitting by the tower, because again, I'm expecting to get dived. Our courier was dead, so I couldn't bring myself the Sange, unfortunately. And I also don't know where the Legion Commander is, and I don't know where the Axe is. If I was them, I would be pressuring the safe lane. I would be moving in the jungle, jungle these camps, wait for somebody to farm this, and I jump out and kill them. So that's why I'm sitting here. So I'm kind of like looking around the map and stuff, but as a whole, I'm worried about getting ganked for sure right now. I just don't feel that comfortable farming until I know where people are. Maybe they're gonna be at small camps. Maybe I could have farmed the small camp, for example, but. And then I saw Legion top just now, which is why I'm starting to farm confidently again. I still have to worry a little bit about Axe blinking in, because he could blink in here and potentially kill me. Especially with my HP where it is. Does he have blink yet? He should. He doesn't actually have it yet, but he should have it. He's really late now, due to the fact that my supports did a good job after like the first part of the laning stage to get kills. And now boom, I get a lot of last hits. We're good on that. I don't really want to go... I maybe could have moved out and farmed one more wave. I think I should have backed out or moved down and farmed one more wave for sure. But instead I did the safe thing and I went back into the jungle again. I saw Mirana coming, I was kind of confused about why. Plus he used the leap. I was able to kill her, and I bought out before I died. I actually didn't lose gold there, but I did give a dominating streak to Axe, which is a big deal. So the thing I messed up there basically was that if I was going to move over and go for a bottom when I'm mostly feeling scared because they have pretty mobile, good heroes that ganking me, what I should have done instead is because he leapt to that camp, what I probably should have done was assume that he was going to the camp for farm. Like, that's why I went in, is because he used leap. I was like, I can't kill him if he doesn't use leap, but he used leap, so I knew that I can probably kill this guy. What I should have done was I should have called down on the camp from darkness. That way, as I walked in, he's instantly slowed. If I did that, I would have killed him without dying probably. I would have killed him on the ramp, probably like right here. He would have died. And that's how I should have done that. Now I told my team to smoke and go over to defend the tier 1 and that I was going to TP. But unfortunately everybody got there just a little bit late. So getting there wasn't going to work. I couldn't TP there, so instead I TP'd to the tier 2. I should have done this like 5 seconds earlier because I could have been with them. But I told them to rotate over and catch them as they escape. Especially because Warlock already used his ultimate. It's got a really good blink dagger timing. And then boom, we get a really easy double kill and a chase on another guy too. As long as I get there within experience range, it'll be really good for me, and I did. I actually got 72 gold just from walking into that one. Alright, and now the next thing to do is to spread out and farm. Because we just got a 3-man kill, everybody spreads out farms. Somebody can TP top, for example, and go farm. So I said, okay, I'm going to go farm my safe lane. The problem is that these idiots wouldn't listen to me, and they all decided to farm the same place as me, and it was so frustrating. God, I was mad. Because basically, like, we're not going to turn this into a push. By the time we get to the tier 2 tower, they're going to be respawned. So instead, what they do is they group up and push. And now we're all sitting here, splitting one creep wave 4 ways. Only one person gets the last hits. And we're wasting mana. And I'm like telling them, like, guys, spread out. This is stupid. We're wasting time. We're spending 3 hero resources on one creep wave. Like, one person could have gone top and pushed top. I probably should have just pushed top. But I didn't really expect them to be this stupid. So I was very frustrated and confused. So boom, I go all the way over here. I don't get a lot. I actually couldn't TP actually because I TP'd the lane. But look how much time we just wasted, and we blocked that large camp just now. And now we're all running the same way again. We could have gotten way more GPM in this short period of time than we did. Overall, my last hits are quite low though, compared to what everybody else is at. But I have been playing a little bit safe. I wanted to kill him, and we killed him. So. A little bit of overkill for the cooldown. I don't know why he was there. That was a really bad place to be. Trying to do item stuff for the courier. This was a huge pain in the ass. For some reason, it wasn't letting me swap out the Band of Elven skin with my item that was in there. Unless it was... Maybe it was somebody else's TP, but no, it wasn't actually. So then I just grabbed the items and put them back on courier. And I was going to wait for them to come to me. So that's 1747. Let's just take a note of that right now. Pretty clear arrow. They are invis. Got a haste rune here. Oh, the heal just does so much. Really helps out against cooldown and stuff. I still have like 3 flat cannons left, but that's not a very good place to fight in. Quap turned around nicely. I should have been sitting maybe more on the hill. Wanted to kill this, just gold plus no threat then. And I put a missile on the PL. That way we know which one's real. Now things get a little scary, but we can win this fight. Everybody's here. Right, and it did work out. Omni actually wrecked these last couple fights. He wrecked them. Those heals, he made such a big difference. Like damage done, what's he at? He did a lot. He did 11,000 or 1,100. He actually did more damage than I did. But I was mostly doing damage to golems, I think. I didn't do very much to heroes, but he wrecked that fight. With literally 2 purifies, he wrecked that fight. That was so good. Quap did by far the most, so that was incredible. That's an incredible amount of damage. I think Quap was definitely played best on the team, other than me, maybe. Maybe he did better. Yeah, I should have kind of left that a lot faster, I think. Alright, so now we're on a chase. Run as fast as you can. I did get my S and Y finally, somewhere during that, but I had been waiting for like a long time to get that. He did already use duel, so him blinking forward actually doesn't do very much. Just phase whenever you can, keep running. Luckily I'm 417 when phase isn't on, so I'm a good like 60 movement speed faster than them. And then when it is on, I've got 49. It's still really dangerous for me to fight, because if I get below like 350 or something, the axe can just chop me. So I just ran back to base for safety reasons. But now my KDA is quite good. And if we look at net worth, I'm actually top of the net worth because of this. So that was pretty nice. So I'm sitting here thinking like, what do I buy to counter the blade mills? And I really think the solution is general survival, just general HP and armor, because the damage, he's gonna reflect damage to me almost no matter what. If I get a BKB, the magic damage that I do to him will get blocked by my BKB, and that is part of my damage. But if he jumps on me first and calls me, then my BKB does nothing really except for giving me HP. So I don't really like the idea of getting a BKB this game. Doesn't work very well against duel. Doesn't work very well against Warlock. It works okay. It works pretty good against like PL and Mirana, but that's about it. So it didn't really feel like a good BKB game. I ended up grabbing a neutral here. This isn't really one I wanted. Maybe I should. Well, I guess that other camp's dead. I probably should have checked the other camps because maybe I can get a better one. This one's okay. If the golem dies, I can get like a 375 damage nuke, but one of these other ones might have been better. Maybe there was like a movement speed creep or something, but as long as you micro it, and I think I microed this first one really bad, but as long as you micro it, the creeps are pretty nice to have. But anyways, I bought a Helm of the Dominator. It does give me 5 armor, which protects against the blade mill damage that I'm dealt by attacking somebody. So that part's kind of good, plus I'm lifestealing some of it back, 15% of the damage I deal I get lifesteal for. So lifesteal helps a little, but not that much, honestly. Because again, lifesteal is based on how much damage you deal them. These were our only 2 sentries, by the way, and for some reason you put them on the side. And we had more coming, but the courier got sniped. So that was kind of weird. That team would be ahead of us. And then we started seeing them behind, and it was very clear that they were behind us. Now I got arrowed here. What's over there? That arrow actually messed up everything. I actually did almost nothing there. I just called down. And I'm looking at fights and I'm like, oh hey, my golem. Double boulder thing. I played that fight really sloppy, I think. I missed microed to my creep, and I should have focused on my hero primarily. Like, there's no point to focus on like a little mud golem who's gonna do like a 125 nuke when I could just Rocket Barrage, flat cannon, all this stuff. So I played that fight awful. I did almost no damage. Well, I did 543, but that was a real bad performance by me there. All I did was call down. Helm of the Dominator didn't really feel like it helped that much there either. Instead of buying the Helm of the Dominator, I maybe should have bought an Ultimate Orb instead. With that said though, I think it was worth it to get it. It's going to keep my HP full, it's going to give me lifesteal, the armor is helpful, HP regen, plus the extra creep. It's kind of worth it. I mean, my armor is really high right now, 24. So any blade mail damage that they throw back at me, I'm going to reflect pretty handily. They'll take far more damage from my right clicks than I take from their blade mail in reflection, that's for sure. So that's kind of one cool thing about blade mail. In some ways, blade mail is like, it's better and it's worse, which is kind of how I like it. Before, it was kind of just always bad, because you wouldn't be able to use it when they get BKBs, so if they're ahead of you, it's just worthless. But now it's like, unless you like duel them or call them, because then they can't use spells while they attack you, right? So blade mail is kind of better now, but you can also play around it, and I think there's just not that much mechanics understanding of how to adjust your builds against it is part of it. I mean, Axe is definitely OP right now, but I don't think blade mail is like ultra OP or anything. I think it's good, but it's not ultra OP. So I'm basically just farming in fairly aggressive areas since we just want a team fight. Just trying to farm things up. Took the little frost harpy here. This thing has full night vision. It's very good. I think, oh, maybe it doesn't. I thought it did. Using cooldown here because I actually don't want to farm here for very long. So it's easier to just ulti it than it is for me to wait for flat cannon or kill slowly. The more time I spend next to creep wave is more time that they can see that I'm there and then initiate on me as a result. So it's a lot safer if you just nuke creep waves and then go back to the jungle to farm. So that's basically what I'm doing. Sitting in the jungle farming. These guys probably shouldn't be standing here. They could like farm the small camp or do something else. They could run to ancients, maybe stack it for example. And maybe that's something I should do with this creep as well, rather than just scout with it. But it is good to scout with it. See where opponents are, maybe prevent them from killing me, stuff like that. I think I forgot about him at some point. Can't remember. We didn't. I think the Omni was calling B top, and I agree with that actually. Even though we do kind of see them across the map. Anyways, the item that I chose to solve the problem was Scotty, basically, because Scotty is a hybrid item. It does mostly HP and it's like HP and stats, right? It also does a slow, but that's kind of irrelevant to what I'm using it for. Although it is kind of nice against Axe Legion, you can chase him easier. But the purpose of getting Scotty is really to get yourself survivability while getting yourself some armor and some damage and some mana. Gives you a little bit of everything, basically. So that's basically my goal. I want to tank up, not do that much more damage, but still have utility. And by doing that, I really limit what Axe has for effectiveness. It makes his blade mail much worse if I get 4 more armor. If I get 4 more armor, how does he deal with me? It's just not very good then. Because the more damage that I do, or if I'm just slightly increasing my damage, but I'm also increasing my HP by a lot and my armor by a moderate amount, then it's just so much harder for him to kill me. Because if you finish Scotty at 750 HP, it's just such a big advantage against Axe and blade mail users. If I'm ahead, and I'm ahead, but not by a huge amount. If you look at the net worth, I'm actually pretty much matching the top 4. So I didn't farm this game well at all. I actually farmed quite slow. So kind of ignore any thoughts of me doing this game well. From a farm pattern wise, I was definitely ultra slow. I'm gonna flat cannon over here for creeps. In times like these, it's important that I'm the only one that shows here, because then it doesn't reveal that my team's in the jungle. And now we can see PL farming. I didn't even focus on him though, I was just looking at the creeps. Kind of surprised it took us that long even to go for kill. Always start homing missile as fast as you can. It's really important. Again, so you know which one's real. Sand King Ag's really good against PL because it applies the Caustic Finale to his illusions, and if they die, then they explode for full damage. So you can kind of one-shot the PL as Sand King. Sand King's actually a really good PL counter because of the Ags. But you have to get the Ags. They might creep. Rest in peace, creep. So we kind of wanted to go high ground here. It's kind of scary though. I think my team was definitely sitting too far back. They could have been a little bit closer. Just doing some flat cannon hits here. But at this point I don't really feel safe tanking it because it's going to lower my HP to like 60% if I stay there and tank. And then it'll put me in a place where I don't really feel comfortable taking a fight. Bought a ultimate orb and a point booster there. I chose to bring the items out so I could drop TP and grab more HP. I give the TP to the Omnia actually. But we definitely wanted to go in here. The courier ended up transferring point booster, I think. I hesitated a little bit there, but I didn't need to. Some things get kind of weird again because we're all kind of low. One thing we really needed this game was a mech, but nobody bought it. The Earthspirit should have purchased it, I think, over Blink though. So Omni didn't buy it, he went Drum, and he's going Eggs. I kind of like the idea of Eggs. It's one of the really nice things about Omni right now, actually, is that if I get dueled or called by Axe and he uses Blade Mail and the Omni has ultied me, I don't take any damage from Blade Mail. So Omni is actually pretty cool against a lot of Blade Mail users right now. Coupling that ultimate with a high physical carry like PA or something can actually work quite well. And there are some other heroes that are good against that as well, like Sven can give a lot of armor to his allies. Not sure if there's much else. Dazzle, actually, is kind of good against, really good against Blade Mills now. There's more ways to deal with Blade Mill, basically, than there used to be. So I think a lot of people are looking at these solutions that they think are bad, and they're just saying, oh, the item's OP, but there's ways to play around it. You just have to, it's just kind of complex. It's like you either do less damage to them, or you increase your armor or magic resistance, and then their Blade Mill is kind of useless or bad. Okay, so at this point we basically said, like, guys, we don't have that much HP. I don't feel super comfortable pushing. Maybe I'm thinking of a different moment. I think I called for Roche here. Yeah, I think we, or maybe it wasn't me, but that called for it. But now we Roche. Roshing is usually should be done when your opponents are dead. If PL is dead for 50 seconds, then I know that I can Rosh on, basically. Because that's their carry, that's one of their most farmed heroes. If he's not going to be in the fight, then we're in a good spot. I'm using a Tornado. The creep itself is giving me 3 armor, and then I'm going to put the Tornado in a place where people will blink from to jump in the Rosh pit. This guy should not be in melee range, because he doesn't do that much damage, and if there's 3 heroes in melee range of Roche, he will do his clap, which reduces attack speed and does AoE damage. So he messed that up as well. Should just be 2 people hitting it, not 3 more. We're using Rocket Barrage on Roche right now is really encouraged. Like this guy, like why did he walk so far in, literally just to cast heal. He could do that from farther away, and then he made Roche clap. Like all these things change how fast you do Roche on, and we did it much slower because this guy kept walking in. Look at this, he literally walks in occasionally to punch, and it's just gonna cause him to clap. Anyways, you should use Rocket Barrage against Roshan right now because Roshan's magic resistance got lowered recently. He takes 55%. He has 55 resistance instead of 75. He used to have 75, or was it 85? I can't remember. It was really high though. I should really grab that bounty. Why don't I grab that bounty? Oh, I left it. I keep checking. I left runes for Quap like all game. She was always missing them. Okay, so goal right now is finish your items basically, and then we will go high ground. So Troll Warlord or Troll Creep here for the bonus armor. Is it 8? It's 8 armor. It's really good, and it slows people. So we had a little bit of passive farming. I think the Omni also had Ags coming, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was quite close. Yeah, he's... Does he have one on the courier? Maybe there's one on the courier. Yeah, this is the point. He's very close to Ags, and I'm fairly close to Scotty. So I wanted to finish my big item before we go fight, ideally. So I'm just waiting for camps to respawn. He's still kind of following me a lot. Make sure that you do the setting, by the way, that lets you hold out for a camp. And I realized he was going to block. Luckily he didn't block, though. And give to other people, too. So I'm just going to weaken these a little bit and let him take it. And then they found me. I got my call down before I died, which is really important, because then that's going to apply super slow on everyone. But my team was able to get here in time. Does that defuse the rocket? Kind of looks like it defused the rocket. Now this is the part where I have to be a little careful, because he still can beat me in a 1v1, which is why I ran around for a moment there. But he does get killed. I'm sure Quap did the most damage. Does Quap actually own? I think Quap carried us more than I did. I actually did the most damage that fight, I guess. Flat cannon, call down, all that good stuff. I did a lot of damage that fight. Naturally you scale, you know? I never really wanted to fully commit to doing Ancients most of the time. Unfortunately, the courier was always in use this game. It was always in use. Dead heroes, so we can push or take Roshan. In this case, Roche is dead, so we're gonna go for a push.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Back up because we're all low. We're actually all so low. Literally, if anybody on our team, either the Omni Knight or the Earth Spirit, if either of them bought an Urn or a mech, we would have been in such a better place this game. Because we kept having it back from pushes because everybody was at 40% HP. You can't do that. Like, either one of them needed to buy a mech or an Urn, or both. To be honest, should have been both. Like, we should have 5 heroes going high ground right now, but we actually, it's dangerous to do it because we weren't all full HP. It's just not very safe. Like, this guy's got half HP. And then I told my team to back. I was like, we're not full HP, everybody back. Go back to farming. And then I stopped looking at the map. And this is about the moment where I realized that my team was still pushing. I was like, huh, my team is still pushing. And I still don't have my items, of course. I was like, huh, my team is still pushing. And I showed on the creep wave, which is the biggest mistake. Because then my opponents know that I'm not there, and they're going to take a fight because they know that I'm not there. And that gives them a slightly higher chance to win the fight. So then I saw the whole game crumbling before my eyes because I'm like, great, we're stomping, we're pushing together and getting advantage, and now my team decides to push with 4 after I told them not to, because they're probably being impatient, being like, dude, why not push? We're winning. But you have to like take your fights correctly, and that's really important to do that. Take your fights when you know you have the advantage. Like, I don't want to go push high ground when two or three of my heroes have 60% HP or 70% HP, because that's a huge amount of HP. That can mean the difference between Axe getting a dunk, which changes everything. If Axe dunks like Omni Knight or something, the whole fight changes. It gets completely different. And this is about the point where Sand King just started raging at me, because he was, well, one of the many, because he's basically like, dude, Gyro got a Scotty? What a terrible item. It's, oh my god, a Scotty? A Scotty? He's, of course, blamed me for not being at the fight, even though I communicated, like, we're not pushing. Go spread out and farm for a bit, and then we'll go push again when everybody's healed. Yeah, that was where I muted him, right here. I was like, alright, done. But again, Scotty, I really think this is a great item against Blade Mill heroes, because it does give you survivability. It gives you tons of survivability, it gives you more HP, it gives you damage, it gives you mana. It's like all stuff that you kind of need. Do a little call down here. I think it was a mistake for me to use call down and flat cannon. If there was a fight right now, I wouldn't have flat cannon or call down, and that's kind of dangerous. I have no idea why this guy smoked me. I was so confused. We actually didn't even see the PL here on the Ancients. I can see him on the map because of the replay bug, but we didn't even see him. I had no idea why he smoked. So I'm like, alright, can we use this smoke? And eventually I was just like, well, this is stupid. What a waste of time. But yeah, the SNY Scotty build, very standard agility build when you're focused on a mix of utility, mostly utility and HP. Is kind of what you're focused on. It does have some damage, but it's not a ton. And you can only make that work on heroes whose skill sets provide a lot of damage. So Gyrocopter is a great example. I used to do this build on Troll Warlord and Juggernaut. Those are also heroes that would get a lot of damage out of their skills. They would attack rapidly, or, you know, Jugwood, Omnislash, for example. Those builds aren't really as popular, and Troll isn't played at all right now, but against Gyro, I think occasionally whipping this out is a good idea. If you're like the tankiest person on your team, and you're the one that your opponents are going to focus, then I think sometimes going this build is worth it. But if the game is more even, and maybe there's another semi-carry on the team, or it's a semi-carry on the team to mirror what you're doing, then I think it can be worth it to go this build sometimes, if you're worried about survivability. But definitely against Axe, it just like screws him. Like, what is he going to do now? How is Axe going to kill somebody that has 2500 HP and 16 armor? He's obviously his farm levels haven't compared to mine, but he's going to be able to reflect the damage that I deal. I'm doing like what? 220 damage. But how much armor do I have? I have 61% physical resistance, so that should mean that I only receive 30% of that. So every time I hit Axe, I'm dealing 220. If he's not Berserker's Called, he's going to take a lot of that damage. I guess it's not that much more. I guess his armor is semi-comparable to mine. But either way, the damage that I'm dealing to myself is not that bad anymore. If your armor is low and your damage is really high, or your HP is low and your damage is high, it's just a dangerous place to be in. That's why I really like this build. I felt good about it this game. And it was a solo queue, so it was actually a really good representation of balance. Unlike maybe some of the other games, like Party MMR is it's very wacky sometimes. Again, bringing my neutral everywhere. The only neutral I'd maybe get over this one right now is probably the Alpha Wolf. It's important I did flat cannon before I got called there. Another great heal there by the Omni to help keep me alive. But like, look at that fight. I just took pretty much the entire focus of their damage after my other ally got nuked at the start. I don't know who that was, but like, I took all of the damage. I took the full focus. The important thing was that I flat cannoned before I got Berserker's Called, so on Berserker's Called I'm flacking everybody. and I'm rocket barraging, and I'm calling down on everybody. But
Dire's bottom tower has
like,
fallen.
I survived that entirely because of Scotty, and it bought our team time for my other heroes to show up to the fight and do their team fight ultimates.
Dire's structures
So
are falling.
it worked out really nice this game. The tanky Gyrocopter with a backup of Quap, Sand King, Earth Spirit. That's like tons of magic damage to back up what I'm doing in the front line. So this is a great build for this game. It worked really well. Next item I got was Monkey King Bar because I need to make sure that if the PL gets a butterfly that I'm still viable against him. He was really far behind and he built a heart for some stupid reason. Oops, I didn't mean to close that. I want this one. He almost had a heart at this point. I don't know why he had a soul ring. I think that build's not good. Diffusal Manta is what he has into heart. The heart builds, I mean, he's clearly just behind in farm by a lot. I'm about an item ahead of him now. But now I actually have damage. Oh, my team dished me so bad here. I was so confused about, look at this, watch my camera. I'm like, guys, anyone? Can you believe they didn't go in? I literally killed 2 people right at the start. I know I don't have an epicenter, but this guy's got magnetized. He's low, I get that. But I killed 2 people right at the start. They just died, and my team is just like, peace. I did 5,000, almost 600 damage, 5,600 damage in that fight. They just ditched. They're like, Quap's dead, run! That was depressing. I should have said something on mic though. I didn't say anything. I didn't scream like fight or something. And I wasn't like ultra confident in that fight either. But as soon as 2 people died, I really felt like what I do when I'm a support and I run away and then I look back to see what's going on. I'll be like, oh, is my carry back in? And if my Gyrocopter like that had repel on himself, used call down and flat cannon, I would have gone back in as a Sand King or an Earth Spirit. Definitely would have gone back in. If they would have, we might have been able to wipe them all and got a 2 racks out of that. So that was actually a really big loss that we didn't win that fight. And I honestly think we could have won that fight if my team went in. Either silences, stuns, stuff like that. Would have bought me time to like possibly run away. If needed. Do he have Ags? He does. Okay. We honestly needed a mech so bad. This was like the most mech game I've ever seen. There's just so many, like their lineup is like all about team fight basically. It's like Axe, Duel. I mean they're very ganky as well, but Warlock especially, mech helps a lot against him. Sold my Aquila now. Usually I keep that over wand because of the armor it provides does way more over the course of my total HP. A lot of times you want to keep Aquila over wand. Sometimes over bottle I would say, depending on the enemy lineups. Next item I will build is definitely the butterfly. I could either go butterfly or satanic. Kind of depends. Thinking about it now, I think maybe I should have gone butterfly. I did end up going, I'm sorry, satanic, not butterfly. If I go satanic, I mean my damage is alright now because I finally got an MKB, so my single target damage is pretty good. I thought they might be Roshin. I think they should have been Roshin there maybe. Oh, this one frustrated me. Yeah, it doesn't actually work like that. Flat cannon when everything's actually down. And that is all Warlock can do. Actually quite good against Warlock. That fight went pretty well. But yeah, I think I should have gone Satanic. The only problem with Satanic is that lifesteal does not work against illusions. If I activate Satanic and I attack an illusion, then I'm not lifestealing. So it's kind of hard. And they have 2 heroes that are ultra tanky, so if I don't do much damage to them, I don't lifesteal very much. So I ended up going Butterfly instead, because that is going to help me a lot against the PL. Man, that just pushed so far. Here's a good example of like my survivability ratio. I'm doing about 90 damage to myself. It's really not much. And Butterfly helps more with that, more armor too. At this stage, the game is entirely won. But tankiness is definitely something Gyrocopter needs. You need to be able to call down, Rocket Barrage, and attack 6 times in every fight. If their whole team is in while you do that, it gives you a big advantage. I do die here. Just a little bit too much pure damage. I think it was actually a big mistake that the Omni kept repelling me. Because he kept doing that, I actually like never had... He could never heal me on impact when needed, you know? If he doesn't repel me, he can heal me always. I feel like a lot of times he would miss that opportunity. Clearly have detection up there or whatever. Yeah, this Quap played really well. This guy deserves to go up on MMR. I don't know if he's a smurf or anything, but he played really well, I think. He did die to a Warlock 1v1, but I think, you know, if I remember correctly, I think the Axe was their highest MMR player. You might be confused on that, but he got a little tilted from the laning stage because everybody pressured the lane really well after the first like 2 minutes or whatever. That, honestly, I think that was kind of what won us the game a little bit. So I did fairly well, and the Axe got pretty shut down. So Butterfly now, more armor, all that good stuff. 25 plus 8. 33 armor is a lot of armor. That's my survivability here. 64% physical resistance is pretty good. Oh, and I amp my damage by 6.6. I didn't even think about that actually. Because Scotty increases your intelligence by 25. So it actually has benefit now past the fact that it gives me mana. Because it actually increases my damage amp. So I'm doing 6.6% increased magic damage, which is not insignificant. Considering that Rocket Barrage, Call Down, and Homing Missile are all buffed by that. So that's kind of cool, actually. It's kind of a nice buff to... I got kind of scared here to damage from Gyrocopters, to finish my sentence. I got a little scared because we had 2 dead heroes, so I thought they might move across the map. And if they did have a ward in our area spotting me going to the Roche Pit, that they could show up and kill me. And if they did that, I wouldn't have buyback, and they could potentially push into an advantage and come back in the game. I really don't want to lose this game. Probably partially because I was playing solo queue. I definitely play a lot more YOLO in an average game. I accidentally blocked that camp there. Definitely would play more YOLO normally, but I actually did direct the team a lot this game. Maybe it's easier to do that as a carry. I'm not quite sure. But I feel like as a support, I'm thinking about like warding and setting up ganks and a lot of other stuff. So I'm just basically waiting for everybody on the team to get here. That way we can take a good team fight. Again, I want the Frost Ogre for the 8 armor. 8 armor is always going to help. Pretty nice ward by them. It's slightly outside the typical sentry ward range. And of course, just give a little bit of armor to everybody else. Right now I felt scared because the creep wave is pushed up so far. But with the ward on the high ground, this kind of makes us safe to do it. And the item I drop is clearly going to be Helm of the Dominator. If you sell the item, your neutral creep does die, by the way, so generally you're going to want to just hold on to it, or put it in the stash. Did I stop attacking? Yes, I did. This is a new Bloodthorn item, it's really cool. And now that I have Aegis, I can die twice, and I'm pretty much just set. Them killing me twice at this stage is very, very difficult, especially with an Omni backing me up. I think he has Ags at this point, too. And he does, so he can ulti no matter where we're at. And now it looks like I'm shooting snowballs, that part's fun. It doesn't show that when you have lifesteal, unfortunately. Maybe it's based on order and inventory. That looked like it was just Axe by himself, so I didn't even bother moving over right away. Maybe I should have, but... Same thing, double ult, flat cannon, goodbye golems. Yeah, I'm pretty strong at that point. So, yeah, that's basically how you play Gyro. The important thing is that you participate in kills. Luckily, all my kills were mostly in my lane. I got a couple more, but a lot of them were... Like, the one death in the river was kind of bad. The fact that I bought out made it kind of worth it, but... most of the time you don't really ever want to die. So I definitely had too many deaths, especially that first death in the lane. That one was really big because that one was super easily preventable. It was a small mistake, but it was a huge mistake because it led to a pretty straightforward death that I could have easily predicted. So die as little as possible, participate in team fights and kills. If you're playing Gyrocopter, you need to rotate sometimes. I didn't do a good job of that, but I probably should have. Like, so for example, I could hit 6, I could TP to the top lane, I could move up there with Earth Spirit, and we could just kill Phantom Lancer. Like, I could just walk up there and kill him. Because we could call down Rocket Barrage and kill the guy, assuming that Sand King, yeah, easily. Sand King could literally Burrow Strike, Earth Spirit could follow it up with a Boulder Smash, or the pull, the geomagnetic grip, which silences, and then do the smash afterwards, and then we just single target kill him. We easily could have killed PL in the laning stage. So stuff like that is really good. Pros do that a lot. They'll like TP from the safe lane, go to the top lane, gank the enemy carrier, or they'll TP to the mid lane, gank the mid hero. There's a lot of different ways that you guys can pressure the map using Gyrocopter that turns your team into advantage while still farming a lot. Usually you don't want to spend a lot of time in the safe lane. And if you do, you push the lane out quick and then you go to the jungle, because then they don't necessarily know where you are. And it's harder for them to be efficient, and it's harder for them to know exactly where you are and therefore plan a gank. If you're missing off the map, people are just going to be like, whatever, because it's a pub. But in pro games, they'll say, okay, he's not in lane, he's going to be in the jungle, then they'll look for you. But in pub games, that doesn't happen that much. So pretty much at any MMR, it's a lot safer just to push out the safe lane, let it go towards the enemy, and do the jungle, if you're worried about getting ganked. If you're stronger than them, then you should probably have your allies sit behind you while you push the lane to bait them into ganking you. And then you just kill them anyways when they jump on you. But this all kind of adjusts based on like who has advantage and how things are going and things like that. So the game was pretty straightforward from team fights. The Axe kind of played like ass after the laning stage, and he picked an OP hero and he lost, so I'm pretty happy about that. Legion Commander played generally bad, I would say. If you play heroes like Axe and Legion, you have to be good at ganking, and these guys never went to where they should have been for ganking. As soon as Legion got Blink, he should have done a Blink duel on me in the safe lane with backup from like 1 or 2 other heroes, and I would have gotten wrecked. But all of his duels were teamfight based, none of them were gank based. I don't think he did a good job on that. And then we outfarmed him. Alright, thanks everybody for watching. This was my replay commentary of Gyrocopters. I haven't made a Gyrocopter game in years, but it seems like everybody knows how to play him anyways, right guys? Anyways, with Blade Mail, just make sure that you balance your items better, and you should be able to beat it. And try to beat him in lane. That's the most important thing. Don't let him snowball. If they snowball, any hero's going to be good. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.